Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, come on. Good morning. Hi, John. How are you? Buenos dias.
Good morning. Bonjour.
I don't speak Russian.
How do I say good morning in Georgian?
Amarjova.
Namachuma. There we are. Thank you so much for arriving on time. We are filling the hall. If you can't find a seat, there is a relay to the room next door to number 2, if you want a more comfortable seat. And we'll now proceed with the opening. But you will realize, and can we just have a repeat of the hashtag? Hashtag, come on, you have to join in with me, yes? What is the hashtag for this conference? SDWC 2018. I hope you're all using it. And now it's my great pleasure to start the opening of this important conference, the second UNWTO World Conference on Smart Destinations. And I think to start the proceedings this morning, I have the honor, I'm going to have the honor a lot this morning. I have the honor of introducing the mayor of our beautiful city where we are now. Thank you, sir. It's been a pleasure to come here. And that is Francisco Wenceslao Lopez Martinez, who is going to address us.
Minister of Industry, Tourism and Trade, Secretary General, President of the Principality, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you. I would like to begin by welcoming you to Asturias, to the city of Oviedo, because we are delighted and very proud to have been chosen for the venue for the second International World Conference on Smart Destinations. I therefore would like to thank the WTO, the organization of the WTO, the regional authorities for trade, tourism, for giving us the opportunity to hold this event, which is so important for the tourism industry. No one can be blind to the important that the fourth industrial revolution, which has started already half a century ago, and the importance that it has. This revolution, at the heart of this revolution are the new technologies, and traveling at the speed of nanoseconds is stepping on the accelerator of many other industries. Several decades ago, in another world called cybernetics, we began to research artificial intelligence capable of taking millions of decisions in a single second, thanks to an accumulation of experiences which are transformed into knowledge. And since then, our leisure and how we enjoy it and program it has certainly made a huge change. Many of the professionals here over the course of this week here in Oviedo will be talking about managing tourism, the circular economy, digitalization, big data, open data, the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and especially smart. Lots of smart going on here, which is why it's important that we not get carried away, because what we're looking to do is to maximize everything in a sustainable fashion. So we have to reinvent to make the sector more competitive, a sector that represents more and more wealth every day. So research and investment are the pillars upon which not only progress depends, but the added value of the projects we undertake. The revolutions in the digital world are countless, and so as they apply to the tourism industry, it's very important to be able to filter all the alternatives and bringing them to a point of convergence to enhance the economic possibilities that best suits the strengths and characteristics of each place. So with the communications that have been planned, as well as the smart talks, and will lead to a fascinating debate. In the exchange of ideas, perspectives always bring about important things and is always very enriching. I am therefore convinced that today, in order to compete in the tourism sector, it's very important to travel and make decisions at the speed of the nanosecond. Therefore, the smart society, the expert committees are key elements. But to truly be able to enjoy, I would encourage you to spend some time and step out of the digital world and into the real world. And you will see that here, by nature, our surroundings is smart, and this will be very much enjoyable. So take the time to enjoy the beauty and the heritage of Asturias, the kindness and hospitality of our people. I can assure you that you will not be left indifferent, because here in Spain, reality is even better than smart. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. We have already enjoyed the hospitality of your beautiful city for the last 24 hours. We wish it was 24 days. Now, if I may add a little personal note here, somebody once asked me, how did you come to name your children? And I said, I name my children after the places that I really love. And I love small countries. I love Asturias. But I wondered about naming my youngest daughter. And then suddenly it dawned on me, I know what I should name her. So she's called Georgia. And it gives me great, great pleasure to introduce, are you still the new Secretary General? Yes, yes. Who many of you may not have met yet, Zurab Polilikashvili, Secretary General of UNWTO. Would you address us? Thank you so much.
Muy buenos días. Georgia, it's and I'm very glad. Yeah. Querido Presidente, excellent.
Dear Chairman, dear Javier Fernández of the Government of the Principality of Asturias, Your Excellency Ministry of Ministry, Excellency Ministry of Employment and Tourism, Your Excellency Secretary of State, María Estado, Excelentísimo, Your Excellency Mayor of Oviedo, dear ministers, ambassadors, friends, thank you. Thanks also to the Spanish government for supporting the UNWTO. Spain is our natural home as a leader in world tourism. I am so pleased to participate in such an important event as we are inaugurating today.
Por apoyar el desarrollo de destinos inteligentes.
So thank you for supporting the smart destination. It's a key to the future. Increasingly, more and more tourists are part of this process. Spain, from the very beginning, has always been an ally, a smart destination, which reflects its world leadership position. Dear President, thank you for welcoming us to Asturias. Asturias, natural paradise, which is the theme of the autonomous community. The aim is, of course, to be able to remain a sustainable society, modern and very much linked and connected to nature, environmental protection, and technology. And technological innovation of destinations go hand in hand.
Querido alcalde,
Dear Mayor, thank you very much for making us feel at home in your beautiful city of Oviedo. Your city is the testimony of transformation for all of us, shifting from industrial ruins to sustainable tourism.
tourism and regional authorities, ladies and gentlemen, like never before in history, the global community rallies around the shared objective of positive change. The Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development provides us the 17 Sustainable Development Goals as a blueprint, the deadline in just over a decade. One of these goals specifically calls for smarter and greener cities and human settlements, and tourism can be at the forefront of making this a reality. Cities and human settlements, this applies to destinations. Indeed, smarter cities and destinations create infrastructure, decent jobs, and economic growth. They represent the change we need as we prepare ourselves for a more connected, outward-looking world. A world with a growing number of people facing limited natural resources that we need to preserve. Sustainability is sound social investment because it makes us resilient. From a business perspective, sustainability is the new competitiveness. Where does tourism come in? Tourism is instrumental to change because of its links with our economic sectors and its impact on the world. And like all sectors, tourism needs to decouple growth from natural resources use if it to be resilient. It's a question of responsibility. We cannot simply grow more and have to grow better, we have to grow smarter. The development, use and management of smart products and services based on new technology has transformed tourism. New models connecting customers or doing business, big data and geolocalization are just some of the digital advances. They are connecting travelers and transforming their behavior. They are letting travelers interact directly with destinations and helping them build tourism environment. Managing in the information generated through big data offers the chance for more universal approach towards sustainability, policies based on evidence. Spain and Segitur set up the Smart Destination Project to develop technology, innovation and sustainability, as well as accessibility at the same time. This is key focus on UNWTO, this new strategy for innovation and digital transformation. Technology is our enabler to end of itself. Technology helps us to better manage our social, cultural, environmental impacts. And if well-managed, tourism can act as an agent of positive change for more sustainable lifestyles, destinations, and consumptions and production partners. This is our vision. Asturias has opted for a transformation using sustainable tourism. So Asturias is the perfect setting to prepare destinations for the future. I commend all who took the lead on this hackathon and yesterday's Research and Development Day. I thank you all for joining us and wish you an insightful conference. I want also to thanks to all our sponsors who supported this project, and it's too important. And again, many thanks to all participants, and the hall is full as you see. We already have a very successful meeting, and I'm sure that in these days, these discussions, this conference will be fruitful, and I wish you very, very good and nice stay and fruitful conference. Muchísimas gracias a todos.
Thank you very much.
I'll get it right one day. I'm sure we are an international gathering, and I'm sure those of us who come from outside Spain have followed events within Spain over the last few weeks with great interest. And therefore, it gives me, I have such respect for tourism ministers who come to tourism conferences. Thank you so much. It's a rare event. But it gives me great pleasure to introduce the Minister of the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Tourism of Spain, the new Minister? Yes, and Reyes Marato. Thank you so much.
Good morning, dear Javier, President of Asturias, Mayor of Oviedo, Secretary General of the UNWTO, authorities, ladies and gentlemen. As Minister of Tourism and for Spain, I am tremendously pleased to be able to participate in the official opening of the Second World Conference on Smart Destinations. Choosing Asturias for this edition has been a wise one, because this is an autonomous community which has always stood apart for its respect for the environment, tourism, and cuisine. cuisine. The authorities and business people have known how to reinvent themselves for the present and future based on their values from the past. This is certainly one of my first public appearances, and I would like to share with you a few reflections that I believe to be pertinent if we are to remain competitive in tourism. You will agree with me that tourism is certainly undergoing unprecedented change, driven by the new technologies and the emergence of new stakeholders and within the context of the digital setting. Ethics, values, and transparency are key elements to conserving the massive incorporation of technology, which inexorably is being integrated into 21st century tourism. And in this, we must not lose sight of the fact that we must fight to guarantee dignified jobs for the workers in the sector. The very nature and relevance of these new challenges lead us to redefine tourism policies and the use of new tools for planning and managing tourism at a local level, because it is the tourist destinations who are really risking the competitiveness of tourism at the country level, the national level. However, the changes are not only technological and digital. We must be aware of the fact that there are huge issues in tourism that continue to be present in our day-to-day and that have to do with things like seasonability, the certain destination environment, climate change, safety and security, mobility, energy efficiency, waste management, which are key to a circular economy, the citizen participation models, and in short, the governance of tourism. In this ever-changing view, with a profile of a tourist who is far more demanding, better informed, and connected, Spain is committed to using the Spanish tourism model, using concepts such as innovation, technology, sustainability, accessibility, and, in short, governance, in order to guarantee both the present and the future of tourism in our country. These themes will be analyzed in depth here, as they are key pillars to smart destination. So from the ministry, we would like to foster the use of smart destinations here in Spain. It's a strategy that, together with the autonomous communities and local tourism managers, will come together to configure innovative tourism destinations that are based on a cutting-edge technological setup, based on sustainable development and accessible for one and all, fostering the interaction of both visitors and the local residents, and improving the quality of life of the residents at each and every one of these smart destinations. This strategy will be based on the methodology of smart destinations, which was developed by the Secretary of State for Tourism and has been qualified by the UNWTO as a good practice in tourism, as they are in line with the UN objectives for sustainable development. The Ministry for Tourism in recent years has been working on more than 20 destinations in Spain that are currently undergoing the adaptation to this new regulation. I'm happy to announce that together with the mayors in all of this, we will be setting up the network of smart destinations here in Spain in order to foster the cohesion exchange of best practices, taking advantage of synergies amongst the different destinations. Spain is a world leader in developing smart destinations. The WTO has acknowledged the fact that the use of technological solutions that are posed by smart destinations contributes to improve the process in making informed decisions and prioritizing measures and examining future scenarios. This is necessary, of course, for responsible management of tourism and the impact it has. Innovation and new technologies are the drivers of these significant changes in tourism, in the value chain, the demand for professional profiles, And the governments must therefore pay attention to these changes, since the future of tourism and its potential to foster development, growth, and a creation of employment will depend on their ability to recognize the trends and changes and to be able to undertake them. I would like to highlight that the Ministry for Tourism is a pioneer in the world in the use of big data in promoting new tourist destinations, while at the same time the notoriety, so to speak, or high profile of the Spain brand. Aware of this, the ministry has developed certain tools, such as the system of tourism intelligence, developed by Isagitur, and which has been awarded as in a recognition of the use of different sources of data to create information and knowledge, thereby helping destinations to anticipate future needs. It therefore becomes a key piece to the project of the Smart Destinations project. After the success of the first World Conference on Smart Destinations held in Murcia, in the second edition we have more than 88 national and international speakers and more than 600 participants from around the world, including the private sector, researchers, academics, technological centers, and political representatives. Likewise, I would like to make special mention of the University of Oviedo for their contribution to this conference, as they have been in charge of managing the entire academic part of the conference, which took place yesterday, and at which more than 60 academic works were presented, and as well as solutions that were developed by startups and entrepreneurs. Over the course of the weekend, the first hackathon of Smart Destinations was held in this very room, where developers, programmers, and tourism measures took place in an attempt to identify those technological solutions that will help to make tourism more sustainable. During your stay here in Asturias, I would encourage you to enjoy the city of Oviedo. Make contacts, make friends. Try the outstanding Asturian cuisine, including their beans and their cider, and enjoy the hospitality of this this wonderful capital found between the peaks of your mountain range and the sea. I wish you all a very fruitful and productive conference, and I hope that when you go home, as the slogan for the new international promotion logo says, that you will also understand that Spain is part of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Minister. You know, when we sit in this hall here, I promised we were concentrating on what you said. But if you look around, you have these murals depicting traditional Asturias. And you have a big job here to transform your traditional industries into maybe more tourism-related industries. But some of us, have links going farther back, if you'll permit me to say so, because my own uncle was a miner. So he understands the traditions. We understand the traditions of local mining, of mining communities, and how that does translate to tourism. And he also happened to be a member of the International Brigade, which brings me a historical link as well. So may I welcome you, sir, the president of this wonderful Principality of Asturias, and ask you to address us. Thank you so much.
Señora Ministra.
Authorities, ministers, welcome to Asturias. I hope you make the most of your stay here, and I also hope that this event will be very fruitful for you. It's a great honor to welcome you. We don't celebrate world-class congresses every year, let alone one that talks about tourism, intelligence, smartness, and Asturias. So, to that purpose, I make use of an anecdote that you use occasionally when there's several protagonists. Let me tell you a long story here. It turned out that a journalist was trying to interview Miguel de Unamuno, a Spanish philosopher, and presented himself as the editor of Pensamiento Navarro. When he listened to him, Unamuno said, look, it can be possible. You have these two things. You can be a journalist and a thinker or philosopher. And we're proving that tourism, intelligence, and Asturias play out perfectly well. In the coming days, you will see that I'm not exaggerating. But before that, you'll have to determine what is a smart tourist destination, because we run the risk of getting muddled up in confusing language. I'll try to do it my own way. A long time ago, tourism and an adjective go hand in hand. Cultural tourism, gastronomical, food tourism, health tourism, wine tourism, adventure tourism, urban tourism, extreme tourism, congress tourism, religious tourism. A long list. Well, as far as I want to take it, of course. Smart tourist destination is not just another category, is one that enables us to make the most of the existing tourist offering, regardless of its diversity or the tourist interest. So it's inclusive and cross-cutting. It's just not another type of tourism. It's a different concept altogether. It is, in fact, just tourism as it stands today, built upon principles such as sustainability, accessibility, knowledge, and technological innovation. Let me go back to my previous example. Smart destinations, smart tourism, and therefore the traveler, no longer needs to walk along with this adjective. They're fully independent and autonomous. Everyone will decide at any time what sort of tourism they're practicing, always, of course, matching the values that I mentioned earlier. IT are, of course, a need, indispensable here. If you know anyone that's traveling without a handset, mobile phone, a smartphone, and doesn't use it to choose a restaurant, accommodation, activity, well, yes, it is. It is a need, even for terribly analogic characters such as myself. But these, of course, you know a lot more than myself in all this, and I hope you're going to talk a lot about this in the coming days. So I want to focus on something that I can do better. I can talk about the tourism, the tourism in Asturias. The growth of tourism in Asturias has its short history, but very successful. When it started recently last year, in the last quarter of the previous century, it was still building based on traditional economy, mining, energy, and so on, and etc. And less than 2 decades, we lost a lot of employment, a lot of jobs. For Asturias, this is well-known history, but it's worthwhile for you to understand that and know it as well. You can imagine the state of mind of society. We saw how its traditional industry was tumbling at a very fast pace without any hope of recovery. It was a region of industrial, traditional industry in deep crisis. Back then, with overriding pessimism, the autonomous government decided to commit itself to tourism, rural tourism. In 1985, we chose the theme Asturias Paraíso Natural, natural paradise. And 1 year later, a new hotel was opened. I've already highlighted the skepticism with which that initiative was considered, vis-a-vis, compared to a huge industry with a lot of jobs, heavy, dirty industries. New, lighter industry was developing to welcome tourists. There's a lot of rain here, by the way. And so how could we penetrate tourism, where typically Mediterranean is British, German tourism, always growing in nice sunny beaches. But that was 30 years ago. And now let me give you some key data on today's tourist industry here. More than 2 million visitors and over 5 million overnight stays. Total expenditure grew in 2017 by 8.2% with respect to the previous year. Tourism contributes 11% to the GDP of the Principality of Asturias and more than 12% of employment. In 2017, number of beds increased by 23% and number of stays increased by 24%. Asturias has become preferred rural destination of North Spain. It's even leading statistics in July and August, where it became #1 in night stays. Of course, it hasn't offset the destruction of the traditional industry, but it has contributed to economic diversification. So now anyone can conceive Asturias' future without a consolidated tourist base. What's the raw material that's made this possible to make this a successful story? Well, we started with certain advantages, of course. We had fantastic natural resources. We had a great mountain range very close to the beaches, diversity, a great fauna, very good food, and also the ruins, Roman ruins, and all the stuff you find in promotional pamphlets. But there was also good management, I might add, very humbly. That was critical. We have made the most of all these resources, and we have strengthened them, as a matter of fact. I mentioned earlier sustainability, because you are, by the way, I want you to know, you are in the autonomous community with the best coastline in Spain. Also, through a network of protected natural areas, we have protected a lot of natural spaces. And in recent years, we've also improved accessibility, airline connections, strengthened the natural routes of the Sacobian routes that go to Galicia, which have been declared World Heritage Site, as well as the ruins from the Roman Empire. I apologize for reaching all the way here with my discourse, but I want to insist that we've done a good management. Very humbly, I have to say this. And smart destinations are also being promoted in Asturias for quite a long time now. A good example of that is a sustainable tourism program to 2020, which is being agreed with trade unions and business people. This acknowledges the region's ability to renew itself in the past few decades, where tourism has boomed. I thank you very much, your presence here today, because it's an honor to have you here with us, because it stimulates us to continue to work on this path. We will later present our strategy, Asturias Smart Destination. We inherited very good management from our previous government, and now with the collaboration of social agents and business people, we want to leave a better legacy for people that inherit Asturias. We're going to work so Asturias to lead the 21st century smart destinations and continue to innovate, which we have to face. And with that, we rely with your help and contributions. Thank you very much for choosing Asturias to celebrate this Congress, which I'm certain was being a very smart choice. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, it's an honor for us to be in Asturias. Thank you for saying it's an honor to invite us. For us, it's an honor to be here and to see the beautiful Principality that you have. And I'm sure you'll get the right sort of tourism here. I can feel it. I can feel it. May I take this opportunity? This is the opening, but I'm going to put in some thank yous because the good people have great schedules to keep up. And may I first thank the minister. How a new minister can take time to come to a conference is beyond me, but thank you so much for taking time. It's important. And may I thank everybody at UNWTO on all our behalves for the organization that has gone into today. Mr. Secretary General, they've done you proud. It is an immensely important conference, and people are taking part properly. And finally, may I thank you, Mr. Mayor, for being the mayor of such a wonderful city and being so hospitable, and Mr. President, for looking after us so well in your beautiful Principality. I think really the clap should be for you for your time, but may I ask for applause for Asturias? I think they're the people. The people of Asturias are the people we should be applauding. Thank you so much. We'll be ready very shortly to move on to the next position.